Bonjour YouTube, welcome back to our channel. Today we take you to Château de Maisons, that is just a few kilometers away from Paris. On y va! The story of Château de Maisons starts with the Longueuil family, who belonged to the nobility of the robe, those mainly dealing with finances and justice in the government. In 1602, Jean VIII de Longueuil acquired the totality of the land at Maisons-sur-Seine, small community not far from Paris.
The position of Maisons-sur-Seine was perfect due to its proximity to then royal residence Saint-Germain-en-Laye. Jean VIII often received the Dauphin, the future King Louis XIII, for snacks and meals. After hunting in nearby woods, even after becoming the king, Louis XIII continued to visit Jean VIII.
In 1629, Jean's son, René de Longueuil, inherited his father's fortune. He devoted part of his fortune to the construction of a luxurious residence worthy of the king's visit. The construction of the chateau itself was completed around the year 1650, but several other structures and facilities, large stables, gardens, entrance to the park, were completed during the following 2 decades.
The building is attributed to the architect François Mansart, who was also the grand-uncle of Jules Ardouin Mansart. On April 18, 1651, King Louis XIV, then 13 years old, visited René de Longueuil at the Château de Maisons. Right above there were some musicians who were playing for the guests.
And as you can see, we are now in the chambre of the king. It was built for Louis XIII, but he died before the chateau was finished. So this was mainly used by Louis XIV whenever he came here. He didn't come here so often, but he did come here. And this room was multifunctional. It's not only for sleeping. People would come here, it was the most luxurious room in the chateau as well. And it's gorgeous.
Today we will also be visiting the small apartments that are particular to the architecture of Mansart. You see, the architect built in a series of apartments that are hidden under the roof of the building, giving popularity to something that we call mansart, which is a roof that is tapered on its sides and is fit with additional living space inside. It is often punctured by windows. The staff and visiting friends of Jean-René de Longueuil stayed in these apartments. One of such friends was Voltaire, who in 1723 fell ill with a pox and remained at the chateau for several weeks. It is said he drank enormous amounts of lemonade under the direction of Dr. Gervasi, a very well-respected doctor at the time. Voltaire eventually recovered and left the chateau. However, on the day of his departure, the apartment caught fire. The reasons of the fire are not precisely known. The guide suggested that it may have been due to the chimney being constantly in use during Voltaire's stay, and therefore making this part of the building particularly dry and prone to fire. It must be noted that Jean-René de Longueuil paid for the treatment of Voltaire at the time.
You really cannot get more French than this room with this pastry. It's so beautiful here. I love it.
Jean-René de Longueuil died prematurely in 1731, leaving a son who died as a child in 1732. The chateau passed to his cousin, who gave the chateau to her own grandson on the occasion of his marriage. Riddled with debts, he looked to get rid of the chateau in 1739.
The chateau was eventually acquired by Charles Philippe, who was the brother of Louis XVI and the future king Charles X. In 1791, during the French Revolution, the domain of Maisons-sur-Seine, like all the other property of Charles Philippe, was seized. It was then sold as national property in 1798 to citizen Lancher, who was a supplier to the armies of the Republic. He made use of the large stables, but did not live in the castle.
All this food is making me hungry. It seems like this is basically the kitchens, the service kitchens where they used to prepare the food, I guess. Because we're on a -1, like a basement floor. It's quite impressive actually, it's quite amazing. And there's a random door that doesn't have anything underneath it. Normally you would have stairs that are supported by either columns or the wall in between, like these ones where we are on. This is a supporting wall, this is a wall, external wall. But the main staircase that's above us doesn't have any supporting columns. So it basically is attached to the wall by itself only. And it was the first at the time. In fact, Mansart, when he built it, he did it on purpose. He left some marks on the staircase itself to show that, oh, normally you would have the pillar, but it's not there. And people who didn't like him, they actually said that it's gonna collapse. Even they budgeted in, like they said that they should budget in reparations of the staircase because it would collapse. It never did, it's still standing.
Château de Maisons passed several owners in successive years and eventually ended up in the hands of a banker, Jacques Laffitte. He shortly became the Minister of Finance under the King Louis-Philippe. By 1830s, he has piled on a lot of debt and as a result subdivided 307 hectares of the park's land into lots for the rich to buy and build homes. To attract builders, he demolished the large stables and delivered the salvaged materials at low prices. This is how the town of Laffitte came to exist.
For the following decades, the chateau continued to be sold off from one owner to the other until 1905, when the French state purchased it to save it from being demolished. The chateau was first opened to public in 1912 and is now managed by the Centre des Monuments Nationaux.
So we just finished the chateau visit, like we're now around the garden, we're going to the garden. When you arrive here, it's mainly the chateau that you can see. The garden really doesn't exist anymore that much. The town that surrounds the chateau, it didn't exist until 19th century. There was just the chateau with a huge domain. From the domain, what you can see now is just the axe that cuts through it. It kind of reminds me of Vaux-le-Vicomte. A lot of similarities to Vaux-le-Vicomte here.
Yes.
You know, and first of all, the chateau is kind of like, not transparent, but you could stand in the center and you could look one way, you would see the road. Right now there is a road, but you could see the axe from both sides of the building.
Yeah, we had the same in Vaux-le-Vicomte.
Vaux-le-Vicomte,
this chateau is very symmetric as well.
Yeah.
You can see it. I think if you are coming to visit this chateau, you should definitely visit the Petits Appartements.
Small apartments.
Yes, and I really like the furniture in this chateau. My favorite one was Mansart's room, and I love the color in that room.
What's the room color?
It was pink, rose pink. You didn't realize? The bed was rose pink.
Ah, yes.
Yes, the chair. Yeah, I mean the furniture. It was all rose pink, my favorite color. I really like his room.
There is a small secret in that room that they don't even know. There's a fireplace, and underneath that fireplace, you can see at the bottom of it, you can see like a little like a little hole. Yeah, that's covered, and apparently that's the only entrance to the room that is under it. Now, the question is, why was there that room? That room doesn't have a door. It only has that entrance through the fireplace. Mm-hmm. It has a window. It has another fireplace that is smoked, so therefore it was used. The guide herself, she said that she doesn't know what it was used for. So the people who were comploting against the Charles X, they were all gathering up there. Mm-hmm. So we don't know, but me and Sinan, we have an idea.
Maybe they just captured some people who were against their ideas, their terminal, their
or maybe people who infiltrated their group,
possible.
You know, so they could like invite them and be like, oh hey, okay, let's go and discuss, and then boom, they would capture them
like
and put them underneath, you know. That's possible.
Yeah, possible. Yeah.
But you know, we're creating the drama ourselves, so
no one knows what room
they don't know,
so we don't know it.
Yeah, and we couldn't even go in, obviously, because it's not safe to go through that hole. I mean, we could have gone in, but there are majority of people wouldn't go in. Yeah. And one more thing about the small apartments visit is that you actually have to access like a small door on the side, which is so cool. I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Normally,
you don't have access normally to that place.
Thank you for joining us. If you would like to see more of these videos, please don't forget to like, share and comment below. And if you would like, subscribe to our channel. Until next week, au revoir.